So how are you doing today? How's the
I'm
day
doing
going?
good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. 2023 has been such an eventful year for you. I mean, you dropped your debut project. A lot of people are recognizing you. A lot of people are getting into your music for the first time. How does that feel?
It feels good. It feels like it's always dope when you put something like put a lot of work into something and then
Mm-hmm.
people like actually appreciate it. Not only what you would have hoped for, but even more than that. And,
For
and
sure.
it's just like the love has just kind of been reciprocated in a crazy way. So it's been
Nice,
dope.
nice. And do you feel you've grown through this process?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think the last 2 years of just putting out music and just life in general have probably been the periods of my life that I've grown the most, just as a person and as an artist too. Yeah.
So can you kind of give us a little background on who Kamari is and your journey so far, music-wise?
Well, where do I start?
Anywhere, you can start anywhere.
Yeah, so I played keys for like my entire life pretty much. I
Oh,
grew up playing keys, and I went to Berklee College of Music
yeah, I
for
saw
like two
that.
semesters a while back, and I dropped out to
Oh, why?
move to LA because I wanted to learn how to be an artist, and I felt like
Mm,
Berklee was just teaching me how to be a better musician. Like all
musician.
the stuff that I
Okay.
already kind of knew was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing those skills. But yeah, so I moved out to LA. I
Mm-hmm.
signed with RCA,
Okay.
and just started putting that project together. And over the last probably 2.5, 3 years is what it took to find all the songs and the production and everything to get it together.
Nice. So how was that writing process for you?
The writing process has been pretty rough too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
that's what I wanted to get into.
yeah.
Because your songwriting kind of feels like when I listen to your music, it gives me confessional vibes. Like very, I would say personal, but that's what I
Hmm.
wanted to ask. The music you write, is it more personal as per like your own experiences or more from a storytelling perspective?
It's a little bit of both. I think
Okay.
I respect a lot of writers that within like their ability to be emotive can take certain
Mm-hmm.
creative liberties and tell stories that
Mm-hmm.
aren't just their own. But for the most part, it's definitely pretty like true to what I've lived. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So your album is called A Brief Nirvana. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, so basically like throughout the project and throughout like the creation of the project, I was really struggling with a lot of like anxiety and a lot of
Mm,
s- like things that I was like basically like coming of age, like growing up
yeah.
and just like real like moving out of my parents' house and like
Mm-hmm.
moving to LA on my own and signing my deal and just like really learning how to be an adult. I think a lot of those struggles, whether it be like interpersonal, like relationship struggles or just
Mm-hmm.
like internal struggles that I was going through are things that I talk about on the project because all that stuff, like even if it's not something that's directly affecting your relationship with someone, it kind of like think like those
Yeah, it's
things
like a
feed each
ripple
other.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a brief nirvana to me is kind of like a moment without having all of those like anxieties, all those stress induced like thoughts and all those things that kind of like weigh on you really heavily.
So would you say music is kind of an escape for you?
I would say so. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
definitely. I would
mm.
say so.
What's your favorite song on the project?
My favorite song on the project, probably, I'll probably say Requiem.
Oh, okay. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorites. I'm gonna be basic and say Right My Wrongs. It was just such a good like the sample and you just
Yeah.
singing. Yeah, that's definitely a
Thank you.
favorite. But that one is really good as well. And Doctor My Eyes.
Doctor
So
My Eyes
yeah,
is
that one's
a
pretty.
close second.
Was that one about you or was that more a storytelling song?
No, that was definitely more so like what I was living at the time.
Now I have to ask this one. A lot of people say when you sing, you do sound a little bit like Frank Ocean. I had to ask this question, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know how you feel about that comparison.
I mean, I think it's dope. Like if you're being completely honest about it, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like Frank like did single-handedly almost create like alternative music and
Yes,
R and R&B
R&B.
space.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that you can do really is take that comparison like in a good way. But also we all have like influences, like even Frank had influences that he sounds similar to. And
Yeah,
like I think it's a little difficult when people can't see past the influence. But once
I understand
they
that.
listen to enough music, hopefully that they see that I'm also my own artist, my own person, and I have like a
Mm-hmm.
whole other story to tell.
Yeah, that's nice. Honestly, I do hear the similarities, but I don't think you guys make the same type of music
Hmm.
at all. Like,
Yeah, because
I
we're
feel
different
like you're in
people.
your own
Yeah.
lane. Yeah. So you did mention the R&B space right now.
Hmm.
Who are some of your favorite artists right now that you could say inspire you?
Two artists that I really like listen to a lot right now is probably Kendrick and Jordan Ward.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jordan Ward.
yeah,
That's another big name coming up in the alternative
yeah.
R&B space. Yes. And for Kendrick, just a random question. What's your favorite Kendrick album?
Probably Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay, that's a good one. That's my favorite Kendrick album
Favorite?
too.
What's your favorite Kendrick song though?
Ooh, oh, off the albums or like
Off a Good Kid.
overall? Money Trees.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's a good
What's
one.
your favorite one?
Probably Sing About Me.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, it
Yeah.
kind of ties into the type of artist I think I hear from your music. Kind of also that deep storytelling too.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, Kendrick is like one of the best storytellers of all time.
Okay, so I know that the goal of every artist is to make, the listener feel something with your music. What do you want the people that listen to Kamari to feel?
I think for me, it's not necessarily about them feeling any particular feeling, but I feel like we all just go through different cycles of emotions and things. And I think for me, it's more about like having somebody listen to something and finding it at a time where they really needed it. Like I feel like there's albums that I really fell in love with at times that like really got me through a year of my life or 6-month period of my life. And I just hope that the project or whatever I make in the future can do that for somebody else at some point,
For sure. Could you give us some examples of maybe some projects?
I think like 2 years ago was I Discovered Continuum by John Mayer.
Okay.
And that just, I ran that into the ground. like it was straight like every day, like nonstop every day. Same with Songs in the Key of Life.
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, same with Channel Orange. Same with The Blueprint by Jay-Z. Same with Good Kid, Mad City.
Some good cuts.
Yeah.
Some deep cuts, yeah. So listening to music for me, I'm a very big production person. That's the first thing I hear when I listen to music.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, are you a lyrics guy, production guy? Do you hear both at the same time? How does that go for you?
It's crazy because I think I used to be a production, like I used to listen to the production first and only.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was writing songs and I didn't feel proud of them for some reason. And so I like really took a step back and I would think about what I was actually saying and try to be a little bit more intentional about what I was saying and how I was saying it. And also like in some unhealthy and also unhealthy ways compared my writing to a lot of other artists that I respect and trying like just to bridge that gap. But I think now I'm like, I listen to the lyrics first. Like the lyrics is the first thing I hear now.
If you were stuck on an island.
Oh,
if you were stuck on an island for, let's say, 3 months, and you could only bring 3 albums with you, not including yours.
Okay.
Which albums are you going with?
I'd definitely bring Good Kid, Mad City. I would definitely bring Songs in the Key of Life. And The Stranger by Billy Joel.
Okay. During your the album creation process for A Brief Nirvana, what would you say the hardest part of that process was?
I feel like honestly the hardest part of the process was falling in love with the process. And I feel like along the way I've figured out what it actually meant to be an artist before I thought I knew what it was to be an artist. And just like tying all the production and all the songs together and making sure a body of work feels really cohesive and making sure that you're actually telling a story, which by the way is still something that I'm like still working on and like hopefully in the next thing that I put out will be even better at. But all of those things were really frustrating, but like very gratifying when you do them correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, just falling in love with the process of learning and being a student of the game again was like really, really tough. Are
you currently working on any new music, or are you taking a break after you just dropped your debut project?
I definitely took a break, but I'm back now. Like I'm working on music now, and I'm very inspired right now.
Nice. Are we gonna hear anything soon, or you're not gonna give
I don't know. I don't know about when, but hopefully. I'll say hopefully soon.
For sure. So now in the streaming era where music is kind of like overly accessible right now, a lot has changed about releasing music. And I'm just wondering, right now you said you were working on new music. Do you feel pressured to like constantly put, music out, or, do you find it easier to just kind of wait?
There's definitely an air of like what's coming next, when you just put out album art, but when's the next, like when you drop it next, like it's like I just spent like the last 2 years working on this project, but I do feel the pressure, but I think like my gut, I'm just gonna follow my gut, and like my gut just tells me just to wait until everything is ready. And thankfully I'm at a time right now where I'm like very inspired and I'm like feeling very creative, but in the future we'll just have to see. But yeah, there's definitely it's definitely a different time where you feel the need in order to stay relevant and to compete put out more music. But I just want to make music. I
I
don't.
feel you. I feel you. In the alternative R&B space right now, there's a lot of experimentation going on. Do you see yourself like really, really experimenting with the music you're putting out, or kind of just taking a more traditional approach with that?
I think my favorite albums do little bit of both,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like that's something that I'm also trying to figure out on the next project is like how to be a little bit more experimental with the music and how to make the sounds feel like it's something that's a little bit more fresh and something that
Mm-hmm.
people haven't heard before, but also
Mm-hmm.
pull from a very traditional
Like
place that feels familiar.
best of both worlds,
Yeah,
basically. Nice. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't even have a karaoke song. If I had to pick one, probably "As" by Stevie Wonder.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah,
And what was the first album you ever bought with your money?
Confessions.
Usher.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
the
that's
first and it was the only one that I ever bought. Because by then, like CDs came, like LimeWire, streaming. So
that's
I had,
actually so interesting because
yeah,
I was listening to your album with a friend, and they're like, you're getting Confessions vibe from this, and that's really interesting. That's the first album.
but actually, I just remembered it. Actually, I never bought it. I stole it from my parents.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
I get it still
yeah,
counts though. It was
yeah,
something you wanted and you got it either way.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's nice. Finally, we've seen how the music industry has changed, due to social media, TikTok playing a very huge role. How do you navigate that as a current artist, trying to appeal to getting people to listen to your music, but without it coming across as,
hmm
too pushy, too corny? How do you navigate that?
I think it's a really difficult right now landscape to navigate, and I think honestly, I feel very lucky that I've been supported by the people that I have been supported by, like including yourself and people. Certain people have picked up the music and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like ran with it and shared it with their audience because I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know how to navigate that space, and that's not really a space that comes very naturally to me to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't really know. For me, it's always just been about making the best music possible and just doing what I'm best at, which is just like sharing my story
Mm-hmm.
and like hoping that somebody likes it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
get you. I get you. So, from what you've told me now, I would ask the question, what is your favorite thing about just being an artist generally?
I'd say like the freedom. I think
In what
like
sense?
just everything. I think once you realize that, like when you sat down sit down in the studio, when you sit down like to write a music video treatment, when you sit down to
Mm-hmm.
like have any kind of creative conversation, that
Mm-hmm.
there really are no limits to anything that you want to
Nice.
do, and you can do whatever you want to do as long as your execution is there and your taste is there.
Mm.
That's been my favorite discovery about being an artist.
That's really insightful. And what word of advice would you give to maybe, artists that, are kind of looking up to you as someone
hmm
who's kind of broken through? Because it's really hard nowadays to kind of break through. There are a million people making music at every point. So do you have maybe any word of advice you'd give to,
Oh yeah,
upcoming people?
I would say my biggest piece of advice, which I'd never follow, is to trust your taste. But
Why
you
would you
have
never
to.
follow that though?
It's hard because it's hard. It's harder. It's easier to say than it is to do. But it's
Hmm.
definitely the thing that every time I come back to, oh, I should have did this or I should have did that. I should have trusted my taste.
Mm.
And in times where things go decently, I find that that's why is because I trust
Trusted
like
your
my gut feeling.
taste, for
So
sure, for sure.
that would be the one piece of advice I would give to people.
Nice, nice. I love that piece of advice actually. I think even just as a creative that doesn't even make
Yeah,
music, sometimes you just have to trust your gut.
yeah.
So yeah,
Like
that's
what you want things to look and feel like, and
yeah.
so you just have to
Deep
trust your
down,
feeling.
for sure.
Yeah.
It was really nice talking with you
Thank
today,
you for having me.
Kamari. I love your album, by the way. Everyone that's watching this, go listen to A Brief Nirvana. It's definitely one of the best projects to drop this year. Incredible songwriting, incredible production, all around great project. And once again, thank you for having me. And until next time.
Thank you so much.